what's going on? It's your girl Simply Bree, and you guys have tuned into another amazing episode of He Said What? I can't say it too loud because the mic it don't like it when I say it too loud, so that's okay. Tonight we are talking about accountability. I was just chopping it up with my guest. We literally had to cut the conversation short so that we could actually give you guys some of the conversation as well. So make sure if you haven't done so already, you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and tell a friend to tell a friend that the show is live. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get started.
You know you're a work of art, a masterpiece. You know you're a work of art, a masterpiece. You know you're a work of art, a masterpiece.
All right, and we are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, Dr. Thaddeus Jones. Is it Thaddeus or Thaddeus?
It's Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. Okay, Dr. Thaddeus. I'm going to call you Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones, welcome to He Said What? I am so excited to have you here. Um, I'm so sorry we had to cut the conversation short, but that's okay. We're going to kick it off here. But before we get back into the conversation, which we will be talking about holding your partner accountable when you're in a relationship, please let the people know a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What is it that you do? And then we'll go ahead and get started.
Sure. I'm Dr. Thaddeus Jones. I own a production company called Fanatic Productions here in Columbia, South Carolina. My background is in film and entertainment. I do a lot with commercials as well. And yeah, I actually do a lot of teaching. So I teach photography, videography, multimedia business, and try to give back to the youth. So I do a youth summer camp as well. So everything I do is kind of centered around film and the entertainment industry.
Nice. Okay. So listen, first of all, tonight's conversation, we're talking about accountability. And it's hard. It's hard with relationships. I feel like if you make it hard. So, from your experience, just by yourself, even just prior to you getting into your marriage, how was holding your partner accountable? Was it something easy as just having a conversation? Was it pulling teeth? Was it pacifying? What
I
was
think
it?
I think the first thing was you have to be able to hold yourself accountable. And in a lot of the relationships I had prior, I wasn't mature enough to hold myself accountable for the things that I truly felt, believed, wanted out of life, which made me a less accountable partner, but also allowed for my partner to be less accountable, right? Because if I have no compass, and I don't know where I'm going, and we're together, we going nowhere together. And so it's hard to hold someone accountable if you don't even know what you're holding them accountable to.
Right.
And so one of the first things I had to realize is that, the biggest part that anyone can do in a relationship is really understand who they are, the things that they value, and then you can start to build off of that foundation. Unfortunately, most people get in a relationship and don't know who they are, don't know who they what they value, what they need, what's important to them when they start those relationships. And so you're already building off of a broken foundation and trying to kind of take that representative that you have met, and forge something going forward. And so it wasn't easy as having a conversation because I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew that there were certain things that I felt should not be in a relationship. We should always build off of a place of honesty.
Mhm.
Rather, even if those truths, those honesty, and that honesty and those truths are difficult ones, we should have the conversations. And so that was always the kind of thing, like, let's talk about it. I can deal with whatever we've got going, as long as you're not lying to me and we're not deceiving each other in a way that we're living in this happy little blissful world of lies. And
Mhm.
so that was those two things: holding myself accountable and understanding that the relationship needed to thrive off a place of complete and total honesty.
Right.
So those were the things that I kind of built that my foundation off of. But at the time, prior to being married, this is my second marriage.
Mhm.
That I just didn't understand. And you don't have if you don't have the tools to deal with it.
Mhm.
I told somebody this earlier. If all you've ever held is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And
Yeah.
so, if all you know is fussing and fighting, and all you've ever seen is fussing and fighting in a relationship, then that's what everything is to you.
Right, it's a fuss and fight. So, what about in those situations or relationships where you have one partner who is growing, they're excelling in life, but their other partner is not, and you have that conversation like, "Hey, what are we doing here? Like, what are your goals? Like, how can I help you?" And all they come to you with is excuses. At what point is there a second conversation? Is there a third conversation? Like, what's the next step typically in something like that?
I think that part of understanding what love really is if you're in love with someone and you're in a relationship with someone, is that is a choice. Love is a choice. Um, and so if you are going to love someone, you are loving someone for who they are. Now,
Mhm.
that means you cannot force someone to change. They have to want to change.
Mhm.
If you have gotten into a relationship with someone that does not want the things that you want, there are options. You
Mhm.
can leave, right? And that's often easier said than done because
Right.
people get into a place of comfort,
Yep.
and nothing grows from comfort. So we already know this. So the second option is to not give up on a significant other that just may not understand, may not have the bandwidth at the moment, or they just may be slower to get to a place of being able to say, I'm fed up with this job. What else is out there for me? What
Mhm.
else does life have to hold? And you have to inspire that into your spouse. Sometimes, a lot of
Right.
times, that is what we come together for,
Mhm.
because you have a toolkit that this other person doesn't have. And
Mhm.
you are able to share those resources together to help each other grow.
Right.
Now, when you get to a place where you're like, listen, I'm tired, I'm tired, and we're not seeing the progress here.
Mhm.
I don't think it should be a threat process. Like, I'm going to leave. It's, listen, I want to be friends with you going forward, but we're not headed in the same directions. I want the best for you. I want you to be happy in the life that you have designed for yourself,
Mhm.
but I don't see myself in that same life anymore. I want something else. And
Right.
again, that's that honest and hard truth where we're gonna cry and we're gonna be
Mhm.
snotty and we're gonna be, but it's just, it is what it is, because you only get one life,
That's
because
it.
time is the one thing you can't get back. You can make more money, you make more friends, buy a new car, buy a new house, but you can't get a second back. And so
No.
every second is wasted if you're investing into something that's got a hole in the bottom of it.
Right. Now, How do those situations differ when you're dating compared to actually being in a full blown committed relationship?
Oh, that's easy. That's an easy one.
Ah,
I'm out. We not together. We listen. If our morals ain't lining up, if our value, we don't like the same things, and I'm like, listen, yeah, I want to invest in some houses. I'm trying to get my credit right. I'm trying, and we just dating, and all you want to do is hit the club. All you want to do is party with your girls and take girls trips, and you maxing your credit cards to the limit and all that stuff. Yeah, that's
yeah.
all good, baby. You do you, because I'm gonna be
Do
over here.
you, boo?
I got to go.
Right. So it's interesting because a lot of relationships I feel probably don't have these type of conversations at the times when it should be had. Is there any point in time where you feel is ideal? Like, for example, are we having these conversations after something has happened, or are we just having these healthy conversations throughout the month or throughout the out the year?
I'm only speaking in healthy conversations. Like we're only talking about healthy conversations going for like
Yeah.
because what are we doing otherwise? What are we doing? We're placating each other, and we just, if I'm not having these kind of conversations, it's because what I want to manipulate you. I want to get something out of you. I want to make sure that you're at ease and comfortable enough with me so I can take advantage of you to get what I really want from you. And that's vice versa. Women do the same thing with men that they say, listen, this brother gonna pay my bills. He gonna do X, Y, and Z. Okay, I got to keep him happy. So I don't want to go in too deep. But dang, if he would just do X, Y, and Z, he might be all right. Like instead of
Right.
having real conversations and really keeping it 100 with people about who you are, what you want out of life, we're having a bunch of meaningless conversations. And yeah, we having a good time until an emergency happens and we don't have a
Mhm.
savings, or you get in a car accident and somebody says, oh, I ain't signed up for that, or you diagnosed with cancer, or God forbid, some other life-threatening disease, and
Right.
you really find out who people are. So why are we wasting time? Like,
Right.
let's start having these, if we're dating, the dating with a purpose, right? And I want to know who you are. I want to know who your family is, because I'm gonna tell you right now, you really want to see, you really want to see where someone's going. Look at where they came from and see if they're motivated to do something different. Because if they came from a certain place and they're doing the same thing that the people that are still in the same place doing, what's the motivation? You're gonna be
Right.
there in 10 years, you're gonna be in the same spot.
Right.
If that's what you want, cool.
Listen, he said, do your research, people. Don't just jump into relationships because you're lonely, because you're tired of being by yourself. Like, make sure the next step, the next move that you make has purpose, has intention. Like, and that's the thing, like, and we were talking about this earlier, like, I feel some people are afraid to be by themselves, so they will settle for someone who has no values, or their values are the complete opposite of theirs. They got all types of red flags. They'll still settle for that person just to have a man or just to have a woman. It's almost like it's a prized possession, or it says a lot about who they are to have someone.
I think society has put that notion into people's head that it's you by yourself, something must be wrong with you. No, I'm by myself because I ain't found the person that complements the things that I want to do in life, the places I want to go in life. And it's okay to hold out for someone that complements that. And you don't have to settle for someone that checks. I talk with my sister all the time about the 80-20 rule, right? You're going to throw away somebody who has 80% of what you want for the 20% that you don't have, that they don't offer you, right?
Mm,
And a lot of times people are on either one side or the other of this fence. They either looking to check all those boxes. They
mhm.
want 100%, right? Of who they think their significant other is. They're looking for perfection. Yeah.
Right.
So that doesn't exist.
Mhm.
And if you are looking for perfection, you will never find it. And yeah, you will always be by yourself.
Newsflash.
Newsflash, right? There's no secret. That's no big secret. There, people get it. But the other part of that is Some people will get a person that has the 80% of what they're looking for in a person, and they can't see that that 80% is valuable.
Mhm.
Instead, they focus on the 20% that they don't have. And then you have to think about what in that 20% weighs so much. Are they rude? Are they crass? Do
Mhm.
they have bad hygiene? Are they, you know what I mean? Like, are these
Yeah.
things heavy weighted, or are they light things like they don't have the job that will allow you to go on vacation? That, they don't
Mm.
drive the right kind of car that you see yourself riding in, or they have children already, and you don't want to date no man with children already, or woman with children
Yeah.
already, right? So it's just, you have to, the scales are never fully balanced. You're
Right.
always giving in a relationship. You're always giving and trading off things. uh, that 80/20 rule is something that you have to take a step back and look at as a totality. Is this person your friend? Is this the person you
Right.
want to come home to when the house is dark, and cuddle up with on the couch and watch, Golden Girls or whatever it is you go and watch? Is this the
Yeah.
person that you can see yourself growing with and taking trips with and spending, and like I said earlier, going through those journeys, those ups and
Mhm.
downs of life, holding hands together? If you can see that,
Mm.
then you have something to build off of, and all the other stuff will work itself out.
Right. Yeah. You can establish that together, like you said earlier.
You should be
A lot of those
establishing that
things.
together.
Yeah, yeah. And the interesting thing, you know what? We're gonna go to commercial because I already know. Listen, we already over the commercial. We're gonna go to commercial. I'm gonna write down my thoughts. Um, hopefully I don't forget it, and then we will return. You guys keep it live. Make sure you subscribe. He said what podcast? We'll be right back.
Mental ambition is a belief that you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. It's holding yourself accountable for your mistakes, working through your traumas. It's never giving up and overcoming any roadblocks or obstacles in your way that prevent your growth and progress. This is a self-help book that deals with mental health, life coaching, and practical advice that anyone can follow to help with self-improvement, accompanied by real-life stories to motivate and inspire you. My name is James Sweat. I'm a certified life coach and author of Mental Ambition, a guide to upgrading your life. If you feel that you have no one in your corner, just know that I'm rooting for you to win, and I believe in you. God bless and keep going.
All right, we are back. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is your girl, Simply Bree, and I have Dr. Jones with me. We're talking about accountability with your partners. So, before we took that commercial break with mental ambition, shout out to James Sweat. Um, One thing that I wanted to bring up because I feel like we do a lot of shopping, window shopping with what we want our partner to have. And it's cool and everything, but are we able to offer the same things that we're looking for in someone? Like, for example, if I say, I don't want to date a guy who doesn't have a house, do I have a house? Or am I renting? I don't want to date a guy who has kids. Do I have kids? Because the same thing that you're looking for, that person can be examining you as well to see if you fit their list and they're checking off those boxes. So I definitely enjoy the 80/20 rule. I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more when I'm out here trying to date in these Atlanta streets. Um, do you have any do you have any advice for us out here in Atlanta? It's not that bad though. But do you have any dating advice? Like if your sister lived out in Atlanta and she said to you, hey, I've been trying to date. The market, it seems crazy right now. What advice would you give to her?
If I was giving advice, oh my goodness, you know, I met my wife working. Honestly, I was not as healed as I am now. I was pretty bitter, And but there was something about the way we met that made me reach out to her. And I would say that be open to that that spirit that moves you, but also like, sometimes you will meet someone and you will discount them. You will put them in that friend zone
Yeah.
because, oh, he's just a nice guy, or she's a nice girl, but she's not my type. Really, what is your type? Because right now your type is lonely. Uh, so
Such a savage.
it's just some of the things that we, again, to your point about checking those boxes. You never know unless you have the real conversations with people. And so I would say that if I was given dating advice, stop having superficial conversations with people. Start having real conversations with people about things that really matter to you. And if people don't want to have conversations with you like that, they are obviously not the one to talk to. Keep it pushing, right?
Yes.
But someone that you can hold a conversation with and talk about the things that that you go through in life. It doesn't necessarily have to be your personal business, but like, what's your perspective on these things? Because if you don't have a perspective, that's a problem too. Like, oh man, I ain't worried about what's going on with the government. I don't care. Okay, cool, great. I ain't worried about what's going on with this environment. It's the environment going environment. Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. We don't have a whole lot to talk about because
Right.
I care about the environment. I care about what's going on in this global economy that we got going on. And so the things that I care about enough to talk about, if you don't care enough about it to have a conversation about it, or even having maybe it was something that wasn't on your radar, but I'm putting it on your radar now, and I've never really even given it any thought. What's your, if you don't care enough to ask that retort, like, well, what's your perspective? Or
Right.
then what else? What we doing? All right,
Listen.
eat your wings because we got to get back by certain.
Listen, I strongly dislike when you are having a conversation with someone and at no point in time do they ever say, well, what about you? Or what do you think? It's literally like they're just answering all the questions and they're not asking you not a thing. Like that drives me nuts. It makes me feel like, well, you just don't care to know anything about me. Um,
And they
and
don't,
it's
and
unfortunate.
that's real though. People
Yeah.
don't realize that like something like 85 to 90% of communication is nonverbal. And so, it's all the things you don't say and don't do that is actually the real communication. So,
Right.
if we aren't, when you sit with your friends, your girlfriends, you sit and have a conversation and they be like, oh, okay, well, what about such and such you told me about? Or what about your work? What about this? They care because
Yeah.
they're having this back and forth conversation. You should have someone in your life that cares enough to ask you, hey, how's your promotion working out? Or how's the new office working out? Or
Right.
how's whatever is going on in your life going?
Yeah.
If they don't ever ask, they don't care. They just looking for the next stop. They looking for the next whatever. And that's man
Right.
or woman.
Right. Yeah. That's true. And it's scary because it's like at what point will they actually like get a hint like, okay, well maybe I should ask about this person. But so let's go back to this tackle box that you said where you said, if all you have in there is a hammer, then everything is going to look like a nail. What are some healthy resources one should have when they're holding themselves accountable in this tackle box?
I think you have to have the ability to do some self evaluation.
Mm,
Because in the moment, you can be hot as fish grease on a Sunday. And you're going to want to say things that you don't mean. And a lot of times, you can't take those things back, even if you didn't mean it. You've
right.
you've you've done damage that you can't undo. And so sometimes you just have to be able to take a breath and say, okay, all right, I need internally to be able to say, don't you say that. You just mad right now. Right now, you're gonna say something that's gonna ruin the future that you could have, right? So
Right.
that's the first thing. I think the second thing is really getting to know yourself. Like take some time to yourself. Everybody needs time for self care is the big thing, and then where I think we're in mental health awareness month right now.
We are.
Um,
Yes.
so self care is a big thing, but self care doesn't look like the same thing to everyone. And
Right.
so I would tell ladies, listen, sometimes your man playing his PlayStation is self care,
Yes.
and he needs that. Sometimes his self care might be to go have a beer and sit in the garage,
Hmm.
whatever his thing is. And sometimes your self care is something as simple as you want to light some candles and have a bath. You want to go
That's
and
it.
hang out with your girls. You want to go and do a wine tasting. You want to get your
Hmm.
nails done. Whatever it is that restores and revitalizes your empty cup, that's your self care, and you
Yep.
deserve it. You should not be, if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't have to sacrifice your self care for the good of other people.
Right.
It doesn't work. It breeds resentment. So,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, you have to tell your partner what you need, because that is, nobody's a mind reader. As a man, we want to give you the things that you need. But if you don't ever say, sometimes, just sometimes, I need to go and hang out with the girls and have some wine. If you don't ever say that, but your husband or your significant other is a homebody, and
Hmm.
now you mad because we don't never go out, we don't never do that. I don't, now you upset, and you're bringing that animosity into the home, and you
Right.
sitting there looking at him like, "Mm." And then he gonna look back at you like, what I do?
Right.
Now you like, I hate the way he chew his nachos. I hate the way he eat.
He
I hate the
always
way
on
he
that game system.
always on the game. Why he breathing like that? Like, everything becomes, now it's a push and pull situation where all you had to do was like say, listen, while you playing the game, I'm gonna go over to Sarah's house. We're gonna have a couple glasses of wine. I'll be back by 10 o'clock, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Communication.
That's it. Sometimes people make a problem out of something that's not even a problem. And they make the problem before it even becomes a problem. Um, for example, if I'm dating someone and I like to get a good morning text every morning, I'm not going to sit here and just expect him to do it. I'm going to have to vocalize that to him. But the issue that I myself personally have come to see is that internally I'm like, yeah, I'm going to let you know that this is what I like, but I kind of want you to do it on your own without me having to tell you. So I'm gonna tell you one time, but I'm not gonna tell you again because I want to see, is this something that you really want to do? And
And nine
that's
times out of
creating an
ten,
issue.
it's not. It's there's 9 times out of 10, it's not. If it's not something that he's not naturally gravitating towards, it's not something that it's not something necessarily that he wants to do, but it's not necessarily something that he doesn't want to do. It's
Right,
something that he hasn't realized can serve him and you to help build that bridge to being closer.
right.
So, unfortunately, men, we tend to need, a little more room to get things. It's like,
Yeah,
well, because we don't operate that way.
right.
If I tell you I need something specific, this listen, most men be like, listen, I need you to, I need you to do X, Y, and Z,
Yeah,
and that's it. There's
yeah,
nothing more to it. I need you to do this, right? This is what I need from you to make me feel closer to you. But women don't necessarily always do that. They might go, Sarah's boyfriend sends her a good morning text every morning, and we like, Well, damn, that's good for Sarah. We never drew the connection that
Not
that's
at
what you
all.
wanted. We don't care. We Charlie got a hellified Verizon plan because he texting every morning. I mean, it was good, great.
Oh my gosh.
We don't draw the connection. So a part of that
Right.
is like really again having the conversations with your spouse about what they like.
Yeah.
When I went to propose to my wife, I called her cousins because I'm in the film. So I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this big film. I'm gonna take it to the movies and I'm gonna have them play it on the film. I had worked it out with my partner. We're gonna film this whole thing and we'll take it to the movies and then it'll play on the screen. And I was telling her cousins that and they was like, don't do that. Don't do
Ooh.
that. She gonna be so embarrassed. Don't do that. She's so low key. Like don't do
Yeah.
it. She would prefer something more
Listen.
intimate and low key and just y'all or whatnot. And so that made me rethink my plans. But you gotta want to know about your significant other to ask the questions of
Right.
what they like. It
Yes.
because it ain't gonna just be like magic. Oh yeah, we've been together 5 years. I know exactly what she like now. No, not even close.
Listen. I seen this one video. It was hilarious. And I guess this is the trick for guys to figure out to get their girl to agree to going out to eat at a certain place. They'll be like, "Hey babes, guess what? We're gonna go eat at your favorite restaurant." Really? Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, we're going to such and such. Yeah, 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 that's it. It was the cutest little thing. I don't think we're that difficult, but
Yeah, y'all that difficult, especially when it comes to finding the food. Yeah, be like, what you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want? I just asked you, like, what do you want? Because leave it up to me. I'm gonna have a hamburger every day, or a sub,
oh
or
Lord.
like a steak. Like I'm not hard to please. And like,
Yeah.
listen, whatever I'm in the mood for, or it's convenience because I'm always moving and doing different things. Like, oh, I'll just pop in and grab a sub. I'm
Yeah.
good to go. I pop in, grab a burger on the way. I'm good to go, right? And when we go out, it'd be like, well, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? And I was like, I want to do what you want to do. Let's figure it
Oh
out.
my gosh.
So it's
Yeah, I
just
can
like,
see
yeah.
that. Well, listen, Dr. Jones, we could talk all night. I already listen. We've gone over, but I definitely, please, 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 I want you to let the people know how can they reach out to you because you have so much wisdom. I would have dropped my crown, but I've been dropping this tiara so much on these episodes. Okay, no, you definitely. I'm dropping it in my lap. You deserve the crown drop because tonight you've just been so spot on and it's very interesting just to see from a male's perspective. Yes, Alexandra Mitchell says salute king, enjoyed the conversation. You have been spot on tonight, so please let the people know how can they reach out to you, how can they follow you, how can they do business with you, the whole nine yards.
Oh man, I am Fanatic Productions everywhere. So it's either Fanatic Productions or Fanatic Pro, and I'm on Instagram at Fanatic Productions, at Dr. Fanatic Pro, at Dr. Fanatic Pro on Twitter or X, and on Facebook I am Thaddeus W. Jones Jr. On Facebook. So I'm on all those social media, but you can also find me on Fanatic Productions on Facebook as well. That's my business page. So Fanatic Productions everywhere. That's me.
Yes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Before we go, there is one question that I asked all of my guests. What is one stereotype, one myth about Black men that you would like to address with the audience?
Oh man, that's 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 one that's close to home there. I would say that we aren't there for our children. That
Mm,
is a huge misnomer, and we get the short end of the stick. A lot of times, the way the system is set up, it drives a wedge. It keeps us from being active in our kids' lives without I shouldn't say that. It's there. There's a huge cost to being active in your children's life, and sometimes that cost is monetary, but a lot of times that cost is mentally taxing because you're dealing with the system, you're fighting back and forth with people in a system that does not that you don't have any rights in.
Hmm.
So I think that that is a huge misnomer. We want to be there for our children. We want to be more uh, emotionally well adapted with our children. We want to provide for our children, um, and we want to live. We want to be active, and we want to live happy and healthy lives with our children. It's just the way it's set up does not always favor our interactions with our children. There are so many rules and regulations and things you can and cannot, and
Hmm.
it makes it really hard. And so for a father to have to fight to be active, fight uh, to have a say in their child's life, that those things are just can wear you out. And so
Yeah.
I would say that that is one of the things um, that is close to my heart. And I would say I don't know a man that has children that does not want to be active in some way, shape, or form, even if he's
Right.
not able to be financially supportive.
Right. Mm. Yes, listen, shout out to all the dads. Shout out to all the bonus dads. Shout out to all of the guys who step in and just show their support to young men out there. The Big Brother, Big Sister program. I don't even know if that's still running. I know down here in Georgia, there's such a waiting list because they need more men to participate in it for the boys. But shout outs to, fathers that's out there stepping up and doing what they're supposed to do. So
There
I
are tons of
appreciate
black
you.
men out there doing the work. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh
cut
yeah.
cut across
No,
you,
no,
but
no, you're fine.
yeah, there are
Yeah.
there are really a lot of black men out there getting active in the community,
Hmm.
lending their voice, lending their time, their spirit, their essence to helping young people who don't have fathers in their lives. So shout out to them
Yes.
because they're doing the work. And man, it's you know we the world needs more. I wouldn't say the world needs more fathers. The world needs a system that allows fathers to be fathers.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I agree 100%. And once again, you guys, I'm glad that you mentioned it earlier. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month, so please take the time to just relax, get the assistance, get the help, get the lending ear that you need, because we need you here. We don't need anyone just going above and beyond, under stress and anxiety. So please reach out to your strong friends, check on them, make sure that they're good as well, because it's not always the I won't say weak friends, but the troubled friends that you see things happen to. Sometimes it's your strong ones. So make sure you're checking out with all of your friends. You can of course find me on social media under Simply Bree right there, underscore SIMPLEEBREE underscore. Also, check out the website, he said what podcast.com. I want to give a shout out to both Dame and James. We will actually have a new podcast starting June the 5th called Don't Judge Me, But it's going to be amazing. We're going to have a lot of great topics. And we're going to set the record straight with a lot of different situations. So you don't want to miss that. Please, please, please make sure that you follow my guest once again, Dr. Thaddeus Jones Jr., at Dr. Fanatic Pro. He also has the website, fanaticproductions.com. And until next time, you guys, I will catch you on another episode of the He Said What podcast. You guys have a great evening, great morning, whenever you're watching this, and thank you for your support. Bye.